Hey everyone, how are you doing today? This is weekly reading vlog number 13 and I've done some reading! Editing Kirsty coming at you from about a month in the future to that clip. I kept forgetting to vlog and I wasn't reading anywhere near as much until towards the end of April, so I've kind of just decided to make this a monthly vlog. So it might be a bit longer than normal, but I apologise. In May I will be back to my regular weekly videos and I hope you enjoy this month-long reading vlog that is also going to be my Aurelian vlog. So I have 3 books to talk about and I think I've left one over there. Even though I've been over there twice to go and collect it, I've still forgotten. Also, I apologise that you'll probably hear the washing machine on in the background. It's actually, it's either Wednesday or Thursday right now. I'm not entirely certain what the day is. Bear with me, I'll check. Yeah, it's Thursday and I'm only just recording the intro. However, I have 3 books here that I'm going to update you on. We have a DNF, we have a I will finish it, just I have no idea when, and a absolutely hooked, haven't been able to put it down, and even as I'm talking now I just want to pick it back up and continue. And so yeah, the first one is the DNF, and that is The Marriage Portrait by Maggie O'Farrell. You can see I got a significant chunk of the way through. I got to page 136, so about a third, just under a third of the way through. And I feel like everything's been covered already that could be covered. And I'm kind of wondering where it's going to go. And even though it's a really weird one for me because the writing is really good, I'm loving how she's describing things and the actual flow of the book is really good. Like, I managed to read, I think, 40 pages in 20 minutes. It's very readable, very enjoyable to follow, but I just have no interest in what's actually happening. I don't really care about any of the characters. I don't really care about what's going on. I don't like the fact that it's jumping backwards and forwards with time. And we kind of start the book with her realising that she's about to die, and then it goes back, and I don't really enjoy things like that. I just rather have the build up to the moment where she realises. I don't like it when things start with that moment. And yeah, I put it down a week ago and I've not had any urge whatsoever to pick it back up again. So I have decided this one will be a DNF. Then we have another one that I picked up from the library. Spoiler alert, I picked this up as a bit of a whim, thinking light-hearted, bit of fun romance, something to break up the, because a lot of the books from my library haul were very kind of dark and like mysterious. So I was like, this seemed a bit lighter, and it is. I will admit, you know, I'm on 259, so I am gonna finish this book probably today or tomorrow. However, I have hit a point where I'm now a bit bored. It was really good to begin with. I enjoyed the build up, everything was really well paced, and then suddenly it's just stopped. And now that things are ramping up between the relationship between these two, I'm just like, cool. And I don't know, there's just a few bits in this that have left me feeling a little bit dissatisfied. It's a bit insta-lovey for my liking. They've been on 2 dates and they're kind of just obsessed with each other, and I'm a bit like, this is a bit too insta-love for my liking. And he is currently still holding a big secret that will change everything from her, and I'm really annoyed because he could have resolved that to like a third of the book ago. Like, as far as sort of here, he could have stopped that, but of course we have to have the third act mess up, which is going to be in this bit, and that's what it's going to be. And it's really annoying because it's like, could have been resolved. He even said, I feel bad for not resolving this sooner, and then did nothing about it. So I'm annoyed. And then I've got one tab in here that I want to talk about when I do my wrap up. I'll talk a little bit now, but most of this I'll save for the wrap up. But it has one character in here and they brought in the fact that he has ADHD. And of course, the only thing that they've talked about with that ADHD is the negatives. And I'm like, okay, cool. And the negative in particular in this is the guy's violent and gets into bar fights and then blames it on his ADHD. He's like, well, you know I'm impulsive. And it's like, having ADHD and being impulsive does not make you a violent person. I know many people with ADHD, myself included. Yes, I get angry. Yes, I lash out. But I can honestly say I have only once ever gone to hit somebody, and even then I managed to punch the wall next to them instead of them. And it took a lot for that person, because she was pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing and would not let this thing go. Even when I said to her, drop it or I'm going to get angry and I'm going to start hitting, she continued. And I felt like that wasn't really ADHD, that was a person who was pushed to the edge. Whereas this guy's making it out that like all he needs is a couple of drinks and that's it. His ADHD is wildly out of control and he just starts bar fights for no reasons. And I'm like, I honestly, there probably are people out there with ADHD that happens to, but I don't like the fact that that's pretty much the only mention of the ADHD that they've brought in. And it's like, great, thanks. Just a book all about body positivity and accepting who you are, and you're going to choose an element of a disability that gives it a bad stereotype and you're going to only include that in your book about it. Fantastic. Thank you for being so representative of one aspect that you want to represent, but not something else. And yes, I sound annoyed about that because it is something that does really, really piss me off. So many books, as soon as they bring in ADHD, and even in real life, every time ADHD is mentioned, it's, oh, they're the naughty child, they're misbehaved, they don't have discipline. No, they're not. But no, I am getting to the point where I will finish it, but where it started, the first few chapters, I thought this could be a 4, maybe a 4.5. And now I'm down to, I think it's going to be a 3, because I am a bit disappointed with some of the stuff in here. And like I said, I am now getting to the point where now that things are starting to develop, I'm just a little bit bored. And then the final one is on my Kindle, and because I've been slumping and struggling, and I had been recommended that maybe I should just pick something that I really want to read. I was like, well, what do I really want to read? What am I really in the mood for? But I am reading Alpha Night by Nalini Singh, which is one of the most recent ones. I think this one's only 2 years old, in the Side Changeling Trinity series. And I have only read this one once. I read it when it first came out, and I definitely, as the series has progressed, I'm finding that there's so much that's gone on throughout that I do struggle a little bit with the plot sometimes. And I remember with this one, I didn't enjoy it as much because some of the elements that were brought in and referred to from previous books, I was just like, wait, what's that? Who's that? And I feel like I needed, even now, I only read the book before this a couple of months ago. And yeah, I'm still like, maybe I should go back and just reread that to refresh why I'm struggling to remember who these people are and what Scarab is. And I'm like, I can't quite remember some of the mechanics. But as I'm reading, it's starting to come back to me, and I'm really enjoying the relationship between Selenka and Ethan. I won't say too much, but one of the big things about their relationship is they meet and they mate. The mating bond comes into happening and they instantly mate within 20 minutes of knowing each other, which is unheard of in any kind of changeling history, because mating takes time. You need to get to know the person. There has to be an emotional bond, whereas these two, it's like the second they meet, something sparks between them and that's it, boom. And now they're like, right, so we're mated, now we need to actually learn about each other. And it's just a really interesting approach to the relationship. And yeah, I am enjoying it. So yeah, actually have done some reading. I then on Scribd yesterday, I'm DNFing a lot this month as well. But I DNF'd The Night Raven by Sarah Painter, which is a shame because it had such a good premise. and it started so solidly with her almost being killed in the first chapter. But it got to the point I can only listen to 1 or 2 chapters in one go. And it's only a 6-hour long audiobook, but I could only listen to about 15-20 minutes at once because the writing is not great. The dialogue is terrible. It just doesn't feel natural. And then, like I said in, I think, last week's vlog, everything's like, "Are you all right?" he said. "Yeah, I'm fine," she said. "Do you need anything?" he said. "A cup of tea would be great," she said. And I'm not even exaggerating. That is how it's written. He said, she said, he said, she said, he said, she said, he said. And there was one chapter I actually tallied, and there were 26 times in only a 9-minute clip. So that would have been about an 8 or 10 page chapter. 26 times he said or she said was written. And I was just like, I can't. Once I pick up on something like that, I can't just ignore it. It's like with, I noticed it with Lost in the Neverwood by Aidan Thomas. As much as they are one of my favourite authors, and I have loved every single thing that they've written, that book in particular really annoyed me with the sheer amount of adverbs that were used. And I was just like, every other word does not need to be an adverb. And that kind of ruined it a little bit for me. I mean, it still got 4 stars, but I was like, I don't like this. But yeah, so yeah, 2 DNFs in actual fact, and then 2 of these. I've been kind of looking through the graphic novels. I then tried Snot Girl, and I DNF'd that a chapter, not even a chapter in. I think, yeah, I was just like, I don't get this, and I don't like any of the characters, and yeah, as someone who struggles really severely with allergies, I just didn't like it. It didn't sit well with me. Then I tried 100 Ghosts, and it was cute, it was sweet. I'm not going to count it as a book that I've read because it was just literally a picture book of different cute little ghosts. And I got halfway through and I was like, okay, I'm starting to get bored now because it was like a little bit predictable. And you can only look at so many pictures of the same thing with slight variations before you're like, okay, I'm bored now. So yeah, it's taken a while, but I finally, certainly, obviously, as always with Nalini, there's a guarantee that I'm going to be obsessed. And then, like I said, with this one, I'm reading it. When I've got it and I start reading it, I'm chunking through it super fast. So yeah, it's just, this month has just not been a good month for reading for me, and I don't really know why. But I think definitely Ren was onto something last week when they were like, maybe you're just reading stuff you feel you should be reading rather than reading stuff that you want to be reading. And I definitely think that they're right, which is why for May I am absolutely just going to mood read. Anyway, that was quite a long chat. But like I said, I've actually done some reading and had quite a few updates. And normally this would have been spread out over the week, but I'm going to head off and I will hopefully have more updates later, but we shall see. But anyway, I'll see you in a bit. Hello. The last week of March I completed 2 books. I finished Spoiler Alert by Olivia Dade, gave it 3 stars. It started off really strong, but by the end of the book I didn't really like either of the characters and I didn't particularly enjoy the romance in this. It just wasn't for me. But yeah, it was alright for what it was, but nothing special, 3 stars. And then I reread Alpha Night by Nalini Singh, which I now only have 2 more books and I've completed the series on my reread. I only need to start rereading it again because I'm going to be reading it with Ren. So yeah, brilliant. But I finished that and gave that 4 stars and it was awesome as it was the first time. I then started Last Guard by Nalini Singh, and what was quite cool is the last 3 days of April, because in the Magical Readathon I'm in Order of the Crescent, we got a 3-day head start on our reading. So me reading that meant that I went into April already having completed one of the 5 books that I need to do for the month for the reading. So I'm going to be reading Last Guard, which isn't one of my books because, you know, I'm great at not sticking to TBRs. And then I think I'll be starting either The Butterfly Assassin or The Magpie Society today. I don't know yet. I'm feeling a lot better this week. I'm feeling more optimistic on wanting to read, and I'm feeling more energised. So fingers crossed I'll be able to get more done and we'll have better updates. Hello, it is Good Friday, so it is the 7th of April. It's also my uncle's birthday. As you can tell, I've just washed my hair, or at least I hope you can tell. I've tried some new products in it today. And because it's lovely and sunny and warm for the first time in God knows how long, I thought it would be nice to just let it dry naturally and see how it goes. Because I definitely notice it dries curlier when I just let it dry naturally than when I use the blow dryer. That's because I don't have a diffuser. Anyway, a few updates. I haven't finished any books yet. I have started a couple. I have started Last Guard by Nalini Singh. Then we have One for Sorrow, so the Magpie Society. I've started that. Not sure yet how I'm going to get on with that one. I'm only 3 chapters in, so it's too soon to tell. But it's a boarding school setting and it's a bunch of rich kids, and I'm just like, not really sure. And then over the last couple of days, I've started Graceling, which is really good so far. And I've read about 2 chapters of Daughter of the Moon Goddess, so I'm not making a lot of progress, but I am making some progress, and I'm just slowly chunking away at the books. So, you know, hopefully that's going to be good. And then I have a few extra kind of things that I've been getting up to. So, first and foremost is languages and my language stuff. I don't really talk much about it on here. Basically, as a preteen, so 11, 12, I started to get into Japanese culture, Japanese anime, all of that sort of thing. I then also at that time was trying to learn the language, but back in 2004, 2005, there wasn't a lot of resources available, and being a teenager with very little money and a mum on benefits, I didn't have access to a lot, so I did what I could. I still remember things like I learned words rather than actual sentences, so I learned things like different times of day, how to greet people, different types of formality greetings, animals, days of the week, things like that. You know, just sort of very basic vocab. Self-teaching a language is really difficult, especially when you're a teenager. And then all my GCSEs happened, then degree. And throughout my life, I've kind of tried to learn various languages. I did French for a bunch of years at school. I then tried to do a bit of German in my first year at university. There was an opportunity for me to go and spend my second year abroad in Germany on a program called Erasmus. Unfortunately, my mum passed away when I was 4 weeks into the language course, and basically it was whoever got the highest scores in the language course was the one that got chosen. I was the highest at that point, not 4 weeks, 4 months. I was at the top of the class. I was the one that had been chosen. We'd started to put my documentation together, and then my mum died, and I basically pulled out of the course because I wanted to be close to my family. I didn't really feel like going abroad within 6 months of my mum passing away was a good idea for me. Looking back on it now, I kind of wish I had gone anyway. Maybe it would have helped, but you know, we can't live on what ifs. So then I decided, hey, I actually want to put serious effort into learning Japanese again. And I think I went back to it mostly because of nostalgia, and it's kind of got a low level of comfort. I'm already familiar with some of the vocabulary. I knew some of the rules around it. I still occasionally watch things in Japanese, very rarely, but it happens. And I was like, okay, let's do Japanese. So I bought a couple of workbooks, and I did join a course that I got 2 months free. So I did as much as I could while I could, and that was Japanese Pod 101. And you can see I was properly learning how to build grammar. I was starting to understand the fundamentals of kanji. I still have no idea what any of the characters are in the writing. I have learned about 6 of the I've learnt about 6 characters. So, you know, I've got a long way to go. But then I was sat thinking about it recently, as in 2 days ago, and I realised in the last 4 months I have pretty much solidly only watched Korean programs. I listen to 90% Korean music now. And of the two countries, as much as Japan is awesome and will always have a place in my heart, and I still want to go and visit, if I were to apply for a teaching position or to go and actually live abroad, I think I prefer the I prefer what I've heard about living in Korea over living in Japan. So I was like, right, okay, so I have decided to switch to Korean. So now I'm in the middle of finding things, and I did find that the same people who did Japanese Pod 101 have got a Korean one as well, called Korean Class 101. So I'm like, that's fantastic because I know how they do things, I understand their systems, I've used it, I can just switch to that. That's fine, and I know I get a free trial, which is also fine. So yeah, I'm now switching to do Korean. And then the final kind of big update that I've got that I'm really excited about is I'm writing again. I have been reading over some of my old pieces of work. I have had some ideas for, I've had a story idea that's been floating around since last summer. But I was like, that's just going to go on the back burner and I'm not really going to think about it. And then in the last week, it's just gone, hello, I'm here. You need to now work on me. It's a Treasure Planet meets Arcane League of Legends, the TV show, and it just features corruption, it features betrayal, it features lost royalty, it's got mecha characters, including one who becomes kind of a key part to unraveling all of the corruption that's going on. And then mixed in with all of that are a set of twins who just kind of get involved in all of this and don't really know what the hell's going on. And yeah, it's just going to be so fun, and I've got a lot of inspiration for it. I will pop up a few pictures here of some of the characters that I've been kind of getting inspiration for, and I'm just really, really excited. And I just want it to be a really diverse and really interesting cast of characters in this world that's just embroiled in secrets and corruption and all of these things. Like there's going to be like alchemy labs and tinkering of weaponry and artificery and mechanoid creatures, and there may be a giant mechanical leviathan as well, but who knows. So yeah, I'm really excited and I'm getting lots of ideas for that. So I'm not reading as much this week. I did have a sudden spark and good reading last week, but this week I've slowed down again. However, like I said, I have just suddenly had the urge to write, and I'm really excited for that. I also did the mistake of reading one of my Supernatural fan fictions from 11, I think it was 2009, so 14 years ago, and yeah, I was cringing so hard at my writing, and it gave me a bit of a boost though, because it shows that I've definitely improved, because even as I was reading it, I was like, there are so many things on this that I could edit. But on the downside of reading that means that I'm now rewatching Supernatural. And I've also finished planning my readathon. I literally have this massive piece of paper, and I will very, very quickly flash it. So, yes, we have this, which is going to be the basis of my readathon. So I will ask, if you are someone who has hosted readathons where you've used loads of graphics and things like that, obviously I know Canva for doing like the layouts and things, but when it comes to sourcing things like images that you've used, have you drawn it all yourself, or do you have somewhere where you go to get those? Because that's the one thing I don't want to do, is I don't want to launch something like someone did a Sims readathon. There's a Sims readathon, and they contacted EA to say, can we use the Sims logos and stuff, and they were like, not really. So yeah, I just want to make sure that I'm not going to breach any copyright or get into trouble by taking someone's image and using it without permission. So if you have run a readathon, you've got all these different graphics, can you let me know where you sourced them? I'm thinking maybe Shutterstock is a good idea, but anyway, let me know. But yeah, I'm going to get on because I've got a lot to get done today. But that's just my update, and I hope you enjoyed. And I'll speak to you guys on the next one. Hello, it is Saturday, and after having been stressing out this morning that my medication wasn't going to arrive, even though I ordered it a week before I needed it and I ran out today, it's just got here, so woo. I have 2 medications that I take daily. One of them, if I run out, I don't really mind so much. I can go without. It's just my allergy tablets. I can just be a bit stuffy for a few days. My indigestion medication, however, and my acid reflux tablets, I cannot go 24 hours without them because I end up in absolute agony. So very glad that they arrived the day I ran out. And I've also got book mail. I think this is an ARC from Harper 360 YA because I did put a request in, and for once I actually can remember the 2 books that I asked for. So one is Transmogrify, which is a book about short, both are anthologies of short stories and things. So there's Transmogrify, which is all trans and queer stories, and how magic is represented, and then there's another one where it's, can't remember the name of the book, but it's basically Latinx culture short stories about fantasy and magic. So let's see if I got one of the 2. I assume I did. I got my top choice. I got the trans magic one. So Transmogrify, 14 fantastical tales of trans magic. Perfect for fans of All Out and Cemetery Boys. This anthology claims a seat at the table of fantasy literature for trans and gender non-conforming stories. Transness is as varied and colourful as magic can be. In Transmogrify, you'll embark on 14 different adventures alongside unforgettable characters who embody many different genders and expressions and experiences, because magic is for everyone, and that is cause for celebration. Featuring stories from A.R. Capetta and Corey McCarthy, G. Haran Davis, Mason Deaver, Jonathan Lenore Caston, Emery Lee, Saundra Mitchell, Cam Montgomery, Ash Nouveau, Sonora Reyes, Renee Reynolds, Dove Salvatierra, Aida Shaniba, Francesca Tachi, and Nick Traxler. So, and it's edited by G. Haran Davis. Look forward to this one. And I know someone else who's going to be very interested in this one. I love the diversity on the cover as well. I just like the different body rep and culture rep and things like that. I love this cover. It's so cute. I kind of want to get started on this now. We shall see. Thank you, HarperCollins. Okay, so my weekly vlog has become a monthly vlog. I have really been struggling to read or anything, and I have no motivation. So I've decided that I'm just going to do this as one big monthly vlog. I have very tiny updates in terms of reading. I started and finished Mal Volume 1 again. I did that as a reread. I needed something quick and easy. During the Magical Readathon all-nighter, I stayed up for most of the night. I read about 200 pages, but I didn't finish anything. But I have made progress on Daughter of the Moon Goddess, which I am enjoying a little bit more now. Even though I read 50 pages, but I felt like I'd only read 10, and I was like, how am I not further through this book? And also, a surprising one is The Raven Boys. I'm doing a project with the Reading Wren, and that was one of the books that I had on hold, and they were like, no, you have to read it. And I decided to try the audiobook, as I've had the audiobook on my phone for a while. And I've gone from having DNF'd it, on-hauled it, and was selling it, to I've taken it back out of the box, it's back on my shelf, and I am now thinking I will continue the series, because I'm only about 100 pages from the end. I will get that finished today. I've got about 2 hours left on the audiobook, and I am really enjoying it now, and I'm like, oh, I still have no idea what's going on. I don't really understand a lot of things, but I'm starting to enjoy the characters, and certainly if you've read the series, Noah, I'm extraordinarily intrigued with him now, and it's like, oh, wait, what? And yeah, so I had suspicions, and then this is like now Noah's story. I'm just like, But yeah, I don't know. There's just something about it that's kind of caught my attention. It's not what I expected this to be a bit more like, I don't know. I didn't expect it to feel quite so horror-like. I thought it was going to be a bit more paranormal fantasy rather than paranormal horror. So I think that kind of got me. And there's been a couple of moments where I've been like, I really shouldn't be reading this or listening to this as I'm falling asleep, because, you know, this is going to start tripping and playing with my head. And there were a couple of scenes that really, the way Will Patton, who is an actor I really, really, really love, the way he narrates, and his voice is kind of like wispy, and then he was doing this really creepy forest scene, and I was just like getting chills down my back, and I was like, I'm going to turn this off now because I'm going to have horrendous dreams if I don't. But yeah, other updates. I think in previous clip I talked a little bit about that I've chosen to switch from Japanese to Korean. That's been going okay. I've done a few lessons on Duolingo. I prefer the writing lessons on Duolingo rather than the speaking. I've also got Tudia app that I've been using, and I got a beautiful present yesterday. That is one of the workbooks that I was wanting to get. So I have some stuff, and I've been trying to do a tiny bit every single day. Painting, I've been doing a little bit. Ren, if you're watching this, look away, because just in case it hasn't arrived yet. But you might remember a couple of vlogs ago I showed a preview of a painting that I was working on that was a skull, and I'd got a little bit of progress, and this is what it currently looks like. He looks cute. Ren knows about the skull and has seen the progress of the skull, but the rest of the painting and the additional bits they do not know about. But yeah, this is the painting so far. I've still got a little bit more to add in. You can see here, I've got some penciled in bits that I need to add to fill in the gaps, but I'm really, 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 really happy with how this is coming out so far, considering, yeah, this is my first big piece. So Ren, you can look at the screen again now. But yeah, so I've been working on that, and other than that I've not really done much else, to be honest. That's pretty much all the updates that I've got right now. Oh, I can show you I didn't realise I'd put it over. This is there we go. This is the book that I got as a gift. So Korean for everyone, and it starts off really simple with all the letters and how you pronounce things, and it has audio clips, and it gives you lots of practice on how to do like the vowels, how to write. And what I like about this is the pages aren't really overwhelming. I feel like that's about as like packed as the page gets, and even that I feel is a bit more bite size, and all of the sections are like really short and quick, so I think I'm going to get on really well with this one. And yeah, that's about it. That is actually now it. So yeah, like I said, it's not been a lot of updates, there's not been a lot going on, but I am starting to feel better in myself. I'm starting to feel more like I'm with it again, and I'm hoping that I'm going to get some more reading done this week. It's like 5 AM, so I'm being a bit quiet, but I got a present the other day, a couple of days ago. I got a present from the Reading Ren. It's becoming a bit of a theme with us, and I really wanted to start the book there and then, but I decided not to, because I was like, I'm trying to not mood read this month because I've got my Aurelium TBR. However, I've been sat here looking at it and I've realised one of the prompts for the readathon is to read a book that matches the clothes you're wearing or goes with the clothes that you're wearing. And because you got the... I'm trying to do this in such a way that I can show it. But we have the bluey green. We have the black. We have the pink. Hi, it's me. Couple of updates. Firstly, I have finished the painting that is going to Ren as part of their graduation present. So again, if it's already arrived, Ren, you're allowed to look. If it hasn't, then you need to look away now. And for anyone watching, this is the finished piece. So I'm really, really happy with it. I kind of regret the outlining a little bit, but this bit here I am really, really happy with. I think it's come out really nicely. I still love the background, I love the shiny, and I love how everything has turned out. I think from a distance it looks kind of cool. But yes, this is the finished piece and that is now going in the box that is... I've had to split everything into 2 boxes. Ren, you can look now. So all the bits and pieces, because I've got a few books that I want to send. I've got some snacks and things like that need sending. So yeah, and I've realised that Royal Mail currently, after they had an issue a couple of months ago where they had to suspend international delivery. And even though they've started it back up, you can only send a maximum of 2 kilos right now, and it used to be like up to 10 kilos. So I'm going to have to send them in 2 separate boxes. But it's fine. Just means I can send more stuff. Anyway, reading updates. I do have a few. It's been a bit of a rough sort of 5-6 days. My period hit. And in the last 4 or 5 months, they're getting worse. They're getting heavier. They're getting longer. It used to be exactly... like day 1 would be absolute hell on earth, day 2 would be reasonably bad, and then day 3, by the end of day 3 I'd be done and everything would go back to normal. Whereas I'm starting to get really severe build up for like up to a week before I am a raging bitch monster. Then the actual thing, it's now going on for, I'm on day 5 currently, and it's only just started to let up today. And I've also been really struggling with really severe migraines. So for the last 2 days, I've basically been dead. It's not been fun. It's the first time in 2 days that I've actually felt well enough to sit up, sit at my desk, do some work. And yeah, it's just not been great. I was also supposed to be prescribed new medication by my doctor. And when I checked to see why it hasn't arrived yet, it just says it hasn't been issued. So first thing Monday, I'm supposed to be having a follow-up consult on the 27th, so I'm just going to have to ring them and be like, hasn't arrived yet. I'm not sure when the last thing I recorded was, but as of now on the 22nd of April, I have now finished 3 books. I'm doing great. I finished The Last Guard by Nalini Singh, got 4 stars. Not my favourite in the series, probably one of my least favourite in the series, because it just gets a bit overcomplicated and I don't really feel like it's necessary. Then I reread Mao Volume 1, and I've read a book that was in my unhaul pile. I DNF'd it in October, I then unhauled it in February, it was in the box, it was on Vinted being sold, and then Ren came along and told me that I had to read it for a project that we're working on together, and I read it and I gave it, was it 4 or 4.5 stars? 4 stars, nearly 4.5. So I have now read the first book in the Raven cycle. The big thing that made a difference, I switched from physically reading it to audiobook and it was instantly better. I really enjoyed the narration. I have a few issues with it, mainly the sort of antagonist, the teacher guy, I struggled to believe that he was only in his 20s. He read more like he was in his 40s. With the stuff that happened in his timeline, we were told it was only 7 years ago, and I was like, I would have believed more 17 or even 27 years ago over 7. But hey, it's fine. I also still don't really quite understand what the actual point of this series is and the plot. It isn't explained very clearly, like what exactly it is they're looking for or why. So it did feel a little bit like the plot was very muddy in places and not very well explained. And I also have a bit of an issue with the characters. Mainly Blue is just kind of boring. There's not really much to her. Noah, Adam and Ronan I'm really, really enjoying, but Gansey and Blue are falling into that trap of they're kind of very one-dimensional, and we're supposed to be so focused on their building relationship and romance that they don't have any other personality outside of that. And it's just kind of like, well, what are Blue's interests? We don't actually know, and we're now an entire book through and she's supposed to be the main character, well, pretty much the main character. So that kind of annoyed me a little bit. So, those few things did kind of annoy me. The very end of the book really got me because it just felt so out of left field and didn't actually link in with anything else that had been going on. And I know that it's going to then lead into the second book, but it just felt kind of like Ronan's just like, hey guys. And it was like, what? Like, how? That doesn't even correlate to what's just been talked about. And it was just really out of place for me. So I think, I will continue it because Ren has told me that book 2 is their favourite in the series, and apparently that's where things really get good. So I will continue it. I have reinitiated Scribd when I got paid on yesterday. I restarted my Scribd because I found out that it's on there. I have finished that. And finally, the ebook for not Resonance Surge, that's the one coming out this year. Storm Echo by Nalini Singh, which is the Psy Changeling book that came out last year that I have not really been able to justify paying for over the past 10 months. It finally dropped to $4.99 on ebook, so I snapped that bugger up and I now have that, and I downloaded it last night. And my plan, I was going to read it last night. Unfortunately, my head was too bad and I was feeling too unwell. So I will be starting that today. Have I done any other? I'm slowly, and I mean microscopically slowly, making my way through I Am Raven by Julie Kagawa. As in, I think 2 weeks ago I was on page 2, now I'm on page 32. I just read 2-3 pages at a time. I'm really struggling with physical reading this month because partly my head has been just so bad. Partly my dyslexia for some reason does not like reading on paper right now. If it's not on a screen or audio, it doesn't want to know. And I'm really, really, really struggling. Plus I keep trying to read while I'm tired, and that's never a good idea. But I have been listening to more audio. So like I said, I finished The Raven Boy on audiobook. I haven't yet. I've read the prologue of The Dream Thieves. And I've also been doing a reread that I started back in March of Daughter of the Pirate King, because I remembered the main character's name, but I didn't remember anything else that happened. So I started rereading that and re-listening to that, and I'm now about halfway through. And just looking over at my little pile of books. Nothing else really. I have also this payday, because I have a new job. I don't know if I've mentioned that yet, but I have a new job. I am now employed by Yo Sushi. Ironically, because I absolutely hate fish, I don't like sushi. But it's my favourite restaurant for things like, I love their duck gyoza and I love their chicken teriyaki donburi. It's just so good. But basically, they're in my local Asda. They are opening a kiosk, so I will just be in charge of prepping all the food and getting it ready. So kind of, I can't really call myself a chef, but it's definitely like a culinary foodie type position, and it could lead to me eventually getting work as a chef in one of the restaurants, which would be really awesome. But I'm only going to be doing 2-3 days a week, which is perfect for managing my health problems as well as doing YouTube and the candle business, because now that we're in April I have plans to relaunch that sort of April, May, June, July. In future I will have January, February, March off because they're usually really cold and it's a bit too cold to be working out in the shed. Then April, May, June, July, I'll be back open and just producing like crazy. Then August I'll probably close again because it's so hot, and last year in the heat wave some of the products melted, I ended up very poorly with heat stroke trying to work through it. So I'll probably take August off because it'll be too hot to work, and then I'll be back sort of September through to December ready for Christmas, and then obviously I'll take a couple of months off. So I'm going to work the business in around my new job. And yeah, I'm just feeling really good because it also means that now that I'll be doing a steady job where I'll be working like 16 to 20 hours a week, it also means I will be able to come off benefits completely, which is great because I didn't really want to be on benefits for this long. I don't really like saying that I'm on benefits, and it has been a real struggle, but I've been in with my physical health and my mental health, it's just not been a great year, but it just feels like things are starting to improve. I've now got a job again. This candle business is going to start back up again. I've got more ideas for YouTube, and yeah, even though my mental health is still flipping and flopping, I've got things that I'm looking forward to as well. Like I'm now starting to make plans to go abroad next year, like late part of this year, early next year, hoping to go abroad maybe for my birthday, and it's just going to be good. So yeah, it's nice. I'll be on double the money that I'm on currently, so I'll actually be able to afford groceries again. But it also means that I can buy some books, and I've also got I've decided I want to get a couple more glasses frames. So like I did last year where I did a few home trials with like Glasses Direct and stuff, I found a couple more companies as well, and I'm just going to try out some new styles of frames and see what works. And then when I've started my new job, I will be doing getting some new frames. So for the next few weeks you might see, or the next few months, you'll see videos with me with new frames. So if there's any that you think look really nice, shout out, let me know. And then when I get my first wages from my new job, my plan is to go to Birmingham for a trip. Just take myself book shopping, go to some art galleries, and on one of the trips I will be taking like £500, and I need to completely overhaul my wardrobe because most of my clothes have holes in. I think the youngest item of clothing I own is about a year old now, and almost everything I own, like this jumper, has big holes, permanent stains and all that on, and I am in desperate need of an upgrade. So enjoy, that's going to be coming up in the next month. So yeah, quite a lot of updates and a little tiny bit of reading. So I've got 9 more days to try and I complete 3 or 4 more books that I need to finish for my career. Wish me luck. Immediately the second I start filming, Ginty starts yelling at birds. It's great. I have a reading update, which is awesome. I finished The Iron Raven by Julie Kagawa. I finished it yesterday and I ended up really enjoying this, especially when I switched to, again, I've got a thing at the minute that I seem to be in a really big audiobook mood, because this is the second book in a month that I've preferred once I've switched to audio. The first being Raven Boys, and then with this one I switched to audio and immediately was more invested. I've given it 4 stars and I'm going to continue this one. It wasn't until about this far in, so I'd read this much, and then I went on Goodreads to update it, and that's when I realised that even though this is book 1 in this particular trilogy, it's actually part of a wider series. So it's actually book 8 in the series. So it was referring, even though coming into it this far in, I never found myself going, what's going on, and getting lost, but I will admit it was talking about stuff that had clearly happened earlier on in the series, so it's kind of like if I now want to go back and read that, it has been spoiled. There's a couple of things in there, but I didn't find it was that bad. And it's like, I'm quite interested now to go back and read the rest. I have finished that. I then also worked out the other day that I needed to read, I think it was 256 pages a day in order to finish all of the books that I wanted to get finished by the end of the month. It's now 3 days later and I've had a migraine and 4 nights in a row where I've had really staggered, yucky sleep. I keep waking up overheating. I was on my period at one point, so that always throws off my sleeping. And I've just not been sleeping very well. I've been going to bed at reasonable times. I've been going to bed between 10 and midnight every night, but then I'm waking up at 2, 3 in the morning and then I'm up all morning. So yeah, it's just been very weird. But last night I actually fell asleep at 12 and slept till 6, so that was nice. I actually felt like I got a decent chunk of sleep, so I feel like I can do stuff today, which is why I'm doing some filming. I also have a bunch of new glass frames as well, like I did last year, and I think I mentioned earlier in this vlog. So I now have a few frames that I want to be trying, so I'm going to be wearing some of those in future videos. So I've got, of all of the ones that I've got, I think there's like 4 pairs that I'm really liking so far. Like, I love the colour of these ones, but unfortunately when I was wearing them they were just washing me out, and yeah, like, they're really cool, they're really funky. How cool are they? But they kind of wash me out, and they're so bright around my eyes that they were causing really bad sun glare. So yeah, I'm gonna get on and go do some recording today. Yeah. So I have read another book, which is awesome, but I still have, well, it's now, the daily amount was 256, it's now up to like 300 and something a day to catch up. Safe to say I'm not going to be catching up, but it's the 27th today, so including today I've got 5 days left of the month. So I at least want to get Gear Breakers and I want to get Daughter of the Moon Goddess done. Like, even if I don't get anything else, as long as I get those 2 done, I will be happy. So yeah, I'm going to crack on, get some stuff done, get some recording done, do some reading, and then probably have a nap at about 2 in the afternoon. And I've also got a book haul on its way, which is due to be delivered today, so hopefully it will arrive very soon and I can add that into my vlog too. Just made my lunch, so while that's cooling down, I thought I would share my book haul. We have For the Wolf by Hannah Witten. So that one keeps in with the whole trying to finish some series this year, because I needed to reread the first one to read the second. Also continuing series, I have book 2 in the Poison Study series. So I have Magic Study. I'm pretty sure that's book 2. I'm 90% certain. Yeah. So I have Magic Study, and then I have Fire Study at my dad's. I've then got a new series, Gilded, Marissa Meyer. I really wanted to try more of her stuff. Pretty. And then finally, I have a hardback that they send in a separate thing for some reason. We have Seasons of the Storm by Ellie Cosimano. This is one that I've had on my wish list for quite a while. It's like a battle of the seasons, and that as each season comes in, it has to kill the previous season, and then you got, is it autumn and spring? Winter and spring? Yeah. Winter and spring fall for each other, but they're destined to kill each other. Well, spring kills winter. So yeah, like, okay, so I've got completion of one series, continuation of another, and the start of 2 new ones. But yay, book haul. And I got all of these for, I think it was like £14 I got these for, so not too bad. I'm gonna go have my noodles, and then I think I'm having a nap because I am really tired today. I've done some filming, I've then done nothing else, but I'm still recovering from the last few days and I am still absolutely shattered. So I might have an hour or two's nap after I've had my lunch, and then tonight I'm making chicken makhani for dinner, which should be good if I have the energy. So sleepy. Hello, I just got back from town and I want to do this quite quickly because I'm not feeling too great. But not only do I have a bookshop / charity shop haul, I also have this month's library haul, and I just got home to find 3 parcels of books, 2 of which I'm pretty sure I know what they are. One being my most anticipated book of the year, and the other one not entirely sure, because the book that I thought it was is going to be a lot bigger than the book that's in there. So I'm going to start with the charity shop haul. So first of all, I went to the works. I was very, very good. I only bought this book, which is a 10-minute adult activity book, and it's got like colouring pages and crosswords and puzzles just to keep me entertained, because I've started trying to listen to audiobooks before bed now. So I do some activities while I'm doing that, and it's just a way to help wind down. Then I went to a free bookshop, so it's one where you can take up to 3 books completely free of charge, and then if you want to put a donation in, you can. I donated some of my books to them today, and they let me have an extra book as like a little thank you. And the first 3 of these were just kind of average, and then I saw the final one and I nearly screamed. So first of all, I got book 2 in the Empty Throne series by Daniel Polanski. I haven't read book 1, but I do own it, so I thought, you know, grab book 2 while I can, and it's free, so can't complain. Then I got one that was kind of nostalgic. We got Kitty in the Midnight Hour by Carrie Vaughan, which is one that I know I read when I was younger and I know I loved, and I really want to read some more paranormal romance this year, so I thought I'll get it for nostalgic reasons. And then they had The Island of Missing Trees, which I know was on the Women's Prize shortlist, so I had this one. And then the final one that had me squealing with delight, it's an I can't believe that Birmingham Library even had this, to be honest. But it's an ex-library book, and it's Captive Prince book 2, Prince's Gambit. So it's the second in the Captive Prince series. I am beyond excited for this. So I got these 4 books for free, which is awesome. Then library haul. I didn't get as many books this time as last time. I have kept 2 books from the last haul because one book that I still want to read, which is Dawn by Octavia E. Butler. But we have The No Show by Beth O'Leary. We have The Maid by Nita Prose. I ended up getting this in the large print section. They didn't have it in the regular size, but I was like, I know this one has intrigued me, and I saw it quite a lot last year, so I wanted to get that. I have The 7 Moons of Mali Almeida. Won the Booker Prize last year. It was Shah's favourite, and she predicted this was going to be the winner, and this was her winner, so I'm excited. And it's got queer rep. One for All by Lily Lainoff. This one I am extremely excited for because it has POTS rep in it, which is postural tachycardia syndrome, which is what I am currently being assessed for, or one of the few things that I'm being assessed for, because I get really dizzy and faint and have a lot of the symptoms. And this has got chronic pain and chronic illness rep, and has had a lot of love from a lot of people that have chronic pain. So, and then finally we have Solitaire by Alice Oseman, which follows Tori Spring, which is Charlie's sister from Heartstopper, and this is like her story, and is one that I'm interested in. So that was the library haul. And then finally we have our Waterstones. So one of these I am 99% certain is In the Lives of Puppets. One of these I think is Gwen and Art in Love. And then, like I said, third one, not sure. This is so... Look at the cover, look at those edges. And it's the signed special edition as well. So, look at those edges. It's so cool. Yes. Bloodmarked. So book 2 in the Legendborn series, and as you know, I reread Legendborn in December. It was the last book I read of 2022 and I gave it 5 stars, so I'm now extraordinarily excited for Bloodmarked. And then this one must be Gwen and Art Are Not in Love. But it is. This is my most anticipated book of the year. I read an extract from it last year and I've read it about 3 times and I cannot wait, and it just seems so cool. And look at the sprayed edges and it's so cool. So yeah, we now have 3 of my most anticipated books of the year all came in one day, and I am so excited that May is a mood read month and that we're only 3 days away from it, because I know what I'm going to be reading.
Where is he?
Where's Nemo, Amelia? Oh, he looks so cool. Hi, Nemo. Oh, he's hiding. He ran away.
Do you see if there's any other fishes outside? Come on then. Do you see the big fishes, look? No. Let me hold that. Do you see the big fishes, look?
Hi. Hello, so it is the last day of the month, and as you can see from that previous clip, I've just spent the morning out. I had a text this morning from my brother saying, do you fancy coming out with me and my niece? And we ended up going to the local garden centre, and it's really cool because it's like a garden centre, but they've got like a kids play area, they've got like a little mini golf, crazy golf thing, and then they do craft and gift fairs and stuff. And my brother's idea of going to a craft fair, which is what he invited me out to do, was walk around. There was about 20 stalls, maybe 30 stalls, and we walked around the entire thing within 3 minutes flat. And the one stall I wanted to stop at and look, he just walked off, so I had to like really hurry up. And so I was a bit like, okay, I would like to have stayed a bit longer to look, but obviously the baby, well, the 3-year-old seemed more happy, but he's very like impatient and was just like, it doesn't interest him so much. So we were just like quickly in and out, had a look around, but it was a nice couple of hours. I got to go out. We went to McDonald's and my niece had some chicken nuggets and I had a burger, and yeah, I wasn't feeling too good this morning, and I've come home and I'm now like, oh, again, and I can't wait to just crash out. But I thought I'd film this, I'd wrap up this vlog because it is the last day of the month and it's also Sunday, which is awesome. So yeah, I can just wrap everything up, and then after this I'm going to go watch Formula 1. But yeah, it was just really lovely, and I love spending time with my niece, especially now she's kind of at that age where she isn't awkward around me now. She's just like, hey, it's Auntie Kirsty, and she, you know, when she needed to go to the toilet, she was happy to go with me. When it came to like cuddling her and hugging her, she was happy to do it. I tried to steal one of her chicken nuggets and she nearly screamed the place down. But then 2 minutes later she was like, here you go, and just gave me a chicken nugget, which was kind of cute. And yeah, and she's at the point now where she's really chatty and you can understand what she's saying, and it's just so adorable. Anyway, reading updates since my last update. I think I'd said that I'd finished The Iron Raven and I gave that 4.5 stars. And I haven't finished anything else. I don't think I'm going to finish anything else because Gear Breakers, I've still got the majority of the book to do. Daughter of the Moon Goddess, I've still got quite a significant chunk of that. So I've done 2 subjects. Like, I haven't done enough to qualify to do Beastmaster for Aurelium, but I have done enough to qualify for Herbology, so I've decided that I'm just going to go with Herbologist again this year and just become adept at that rather than just novice. And then I can go for Beastmaster again next year, or I can just, you know, be nice to myself and let myself read in May and do it, but we shall see. So yeah, shame I didn't quite finish it, but you know, it's been a bit of a rough month again. Yeah, so wrapping up this month, I think I've read 5 books in total. I've had quite a lot of DNFs this month that I know I'm not going to pick up again, and unfortunately quite a few of those were library books, as I kind of just tend to pick stuff up from the library that looks either vaguely interesting or is stuff that I know is really popular elsewhere. Like at the minute I've got 7 Moons of Mali Almeida, and I'm like, I don't know if I actually do want to read it or if I want to read it because of all the hype around it, but we shall see. I've had a month of ups and downs. The ups have been really up, the downs have been really down. My mental health has been a little bit better this month, but my physical health has been a little bit worse, which is really annoying because I'm going into a new job next month and I really wanted to try and get things better. Yeah, all in all, I would have liked this month to have gone a little bit better for me, but it didn't. But hey ho, that's how things go. Hopefully back to weeklies and then we shall see how things go. I really hope your reading has been really good for April. I hope you've had a really good month. As always, let me know in the comments how you've been getting on. I hope your reading went well. Let me know what your highlights have been for the month, and I will see you guys on the next one, where, fingers crossed, I will be actually getting my shit together and reading more regularly and vlogging better. I hope you're all good, hope you're staying safe, and until the next vlog.